Neither Herod's plotting nor Jerusalem's resistance to maternal love will deter Jesus from his sacrificial mission. The Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, the 13th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
At that very hour, some Pharisees came and said to him, "Get away from here, for Herod wants to kill you." He said to them, "Go and tell that fox for me, 'Listen, I am casting out demons and performing cures today and tomorrow, and on the third day I finish my work. Yet today, tomorrow, and the next day I must be on my way, because it is impossible for a prophet to be killed outside of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often have I desired to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood under her wings, and you were not willing. See, your house is left to you, and I tell you, you will not see me until the time comes when you say, 'Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Our hymn is 741, "Thy Holy Wings." Greetings to you. Greetings on this day that the Lord has made, a day for us to rejoice and be glad. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and from his Son, our Lord Jesus Christ. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How often have I desired to gather your children, like a hen gathers her brood beneath her wings, and you were not willing. Jesus gives quite a response. He gives quite a lament as he responds to the warning from those Pharisees that Herod was on the hunt for Jesus, intending to give him the same end that John the Baptist received. Jesus has sallied forth on his exodus to Jerusalem. Luke tells us this in the Transfiguration story. Moses and Elijah appeared in glorious splendor and spoke about his impending departure that he was about to carry out in Jerusalem. And just a little while later, Jesus is rejected by a Samaritan village because he has set his face toward Jerusalem. Jesus will not be deterred from his appointment at the intersection of geography and chronology, at that point where space and time in all dimensions would come to a point, there at the meeting of the horizontal and the vertical on a hill named Golgotha. Jesus will not be distracted even by intimations of a death threat. Though the Pharisees are warning Jesus of Herod's intention, they're actually using it as a perverse form of vindication, as if they were saying, "See, Jesus, we're not the only ones that want you dead. Herod does too." With the warning, these Pharisees are demonstrating to Jesus further proof that he's on the outside and they're on the inside. Jesus is the rejected one, not they. Jesus' lament, then, is a response to this implied rejection, and he's telling them, hey, It's not me that's rejecting you. It's you rejecting me. How often have I desired to gather your children together as a hen gathers her brood beneath her wings, and you were not willing. There were times when I hated chickens. I thought they were foul, noisy, smelly, stinky, and messy, painful. Of course, they had a cute beginning. The cuteness of chicks, though, soon gave way to the mess of caring for them by the hundreds. Their incessant peeping filled the house, their mindless viciousness, as they would peck a weaker one to death, given the opportunity, disgusting. Of course, they had a fine end once they were served up as baked chicken dipped in butter, rolled in Rice Krispies. Oh, but to get there, what a mess. You had to catch them by the feet, lop off their heads, round up the bodies from where they'd headlessly run, dip them in the scalding water, pluck the feathers, gut the bird, cut up the meat. There were times when I thought I'd never get the stench of wet feathers out of my nostrils or the slimy feel of cold chicken fat off my hands. But that's not all the reason I hated chickens. They were painful. I had to pick the eggs. From the time I was allowed out to the chicken house by myself, it was part of my chores to gather in the eggs. I soon learned the difference in hens. Some were braggers. They'd lay an egg, cackle a lot, and off they'd go to feed again, leaving the eggs behind. Some were layers. They'd lay an egg or two or three. But when I showed up with my egg basket and my little stick, they were easily persuaded to leave the nest. Some hens were setters. These setting hens were not the least bit intimidated by me or my handy-dandy little stick. Poke, poke, poke. And there they sat, undeterred. Now, should I reach in and try for those eggs anyway, they'd retaliate. Peck, peck, peck. Painful, like I said, I really hated those chickens. My dad, when I explained the difficulty to him, he said, "I'll show you." He'd go up to one of those setting hens, talking nice and low, and he'd just slide his hand right underneath them and pluck out those eggs as smooth as you please. And if that hen did take a peck at his hand, well, it seemed like it was just a half-hearted protest. I really hated those chickens. I thought they were foul, messy, stinky, painful. I hated those chickens because, in truth, I was afraid of them. I knew it, and they knew it. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the city that kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to it. How long have I desired to gather you, to gather your children, like a hen gathers her brood beneath her wings, and you were not willing. You might have guessed it already, but in this lament, Jesus mourns for more than the mere city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is just the standing,